The tight end. The Jets start out from their 34. Play action on first down, and the Lions did not go for it. The play whistle down. Mark Spindler with the hit, and will receive credit for his third sack of the season. A loss of 9 on the play.
You know, you credit this sack from Spindler, number 92. He's on the left-hand side of the screen. He's going to come into the inside. He beats Irv Eatman cleanly, takes a hit in the backfield, but still makes the play. Blair Thomas doesn't make it, but there is a fumble. The whistle had blown, remember. Once the whistle blows, the play is dead. Spindler makes a nice play, sacks the quarterback. But the defensive secondary, excellent coverage.
Second down and 18. Out of the draw. Blair Thomas, fumble, coughed it up. Recovered by Detroit. Chris Spielman, who has had a terrific season, recovered a fumble last week, has come up with one right here.
First 2 plays for the Jets, 2 fumbles. Here it goes again. The other one, again, the whistle blew, but here comes Blair Thomas. Watch this. As he tries to go back, that's Jerry Ball that reaches in and strips the ball. Number 54, Spielman gets the ball.
So the Blair Thomas troubles continue. You recall the critical fumble in that Monday night game against the Chicago Bears. And he gives one to the Lions right here. Kramer on first down has it deflected. He threw a bullet intended for Mike Farr.
What, if Mike Farr, the ball would have hit him, he still wouldn't have caught it. I mean, that ball was flying. You've got to be able to take a little bit off. And Kramer, they've had some problem at quarterback, and Kramer is the problem.
Chris Spielman, in his 4th year out of Ohio State, leads the Lions in tackles with 95. He's led in that department the last 3 years. Came up with the fumble recovery a moment ago. Kramer able to complete inside the 15-yard line. Robert Clark with his 36th reception of the season. And Lonnie Young made the stop. That goes for 12, and Kramer took a shot and is shaken up.
Kramer going back to pass. Now, he's going to pay for this. Once he throws the ball, just take that's number 90 is Dennis Byrd, who hits him and drills him right into the turf. But he's still in the game.
Eric Kramer, off his good play in preseason, moved past this man, Andre Ware, and behind the injured Rodney Peete, who is out for the rest of the season. So Kramer will hang in, has a first down at the Jet 14-yard line. Sanders is in for the touchdown.
Marv, that's the second time that Lageman, number 56, Jeff Lageman, had a shot at Sanders and misses him. And then Sanders picks up an excellent block downfield by Willie Green, number 86, and he scores.
That is his 15th touchdown of the season. He is first in the NFC. And here's Eddie Murray for the extra point. You know, Wayne Fonts was telling us yesterday that the opposition does not realize the quickness of Barry Sanders until they're on the field with him. He is very, very tough. He makes people miss. So tough to get a piece of, as the Jets just discovered.
This is
touchdown of the season. Detroit 7 and the Jets nothing. The kickoff by Eddie Murray. Hector and Brown are back. This is Johnny Hector out to the 15, and he is smashed down. He is hammered by Nico Noga and Victor Jones.
All right, let's take a look at the TD. 4 things happen in this TD. First, it starts out with Jeff Lageman missing. To the left of your screen, number 56 is Lageman. Sanders is 20, obviously. Here's the miss there. All right, now we move forward, left of the screen. Number 80, Perriman, gets an excellent block. 81, Farr, gets another block. And then number 86, right there, is Willie Green, gets the final block. And Sanders touchdown.
So the Jets, who got off to the poor start with the sack and the fumble, go back to the offense. And it's Freeman McNeil, stopped by the right defensive end, Dan Owen. So McNeil inserted here early after Blair Thomas coughed it up. He went for 3. It'll be a 2nd down and 7. A look at the Miller Lite 10-minute ticker. Houston has clinched the AFC Central for the first time as they wallop Pittsburgh. Philadelphia's come from behind. They lead the Giants. Kansas City now over San Diego. And Dallas knocks off slumping New Orleans. That is a final score. And as you know, the Chicago Bears go to 10 up and 4 down with the victory over the Green Bay Packers. Brad Baxter, the ball carrier. He went for 5 on the play. And Jerry Ball, the nose tackle, who has had a terrific season, made the stop. It'll be a 3rd down and 1 at the 26.
Jerry Ball is the guy that you have to block. That man, number 93. If you don't block him, you don't run the ball, nor do you pass the ball.
And we'd like to welcome those of you who have been watching Pittsburgh and Houston. The Oilers defeating the Steelers by the score of 31-6. Marv Albert, Paul McGuire from the Silverdome in Pontiac. And the Lions lead the Jets by the score of 7-0, and Ken O'Brien calling for the timeout.
One thing, he looked down, he had the wrong play called for the defense that was out there and didn't have enough time to get a change in.
So with 9:45 remaining in this first quarter, we'll take a timeout. For the Jets as we resume, O'Brien out of the shotgun. That's Toon in motion. And the penalty flag is thrown. Let's see, was he drawn off?
Mike Haight was offside, or moved. And that'll make it 3rd down and almost 7.
Referee is Red Cashin.
First down. Oh, I'm sorry.
And that is indeed a fine impersonation that I know Red appreciates.
Ball start before the ball was snapped. Number 79 on the offense. Still 3rd down.
And that is the left guard, as you mentioned, Paul, Mike Haight. He and Dave Cadigan have been rotating at that position, so Haight called. And the Jets now 3rd down and 6 at the 21.
Red Cashin's got a cold. We're not going to hear him do that today.
Now, only you would know that.
Well,
be able to pick it up on the public address system here at the huge Silverdome. Well, the Jets aware that they would be affected by the crowd noise here at the Silverdome, and Ken O'Brien is having his difficulties. Jets expect to go to the silent count frequently. The Silverdome so loud and the sound reverberates. Apparently they did not move the ball on that penalty, and now it has been set outside the 20.
Well, they had a 5-yard penalty, never gave it to him.
It is a 3rd and 6. And Terrence Mathis not able to hold on. He should have had it. He was covered by Ray Crockett.
He had Crockett beat, and that ball is right on target. O'Brien can't throw the ball any better than this. Watch the play. Terrence Mathis is coming across the field. Perfect position. Crockett is behind. He's got him beat.
There is Terrence Mathis. And Louis Aguiar back at his 5 to punt to Mel Gray. 2nd in the NFL, averaging 13 yards per punt return, right behind Brian Mitchell of Washington. And a good boot by Aguiar. Fair catch called by Gray. So Aguiar unleashes a 52-yard punt. And Detroit will go back to the offense. Of course, still on the minds of the Detroit Lions is their teammate offensive lineman Mike Utley. That's James Hasty wearing number 60 with his thoughts on his Washington State teammate Mike Utley, whose career is over after a paralyzing spinal injury suffered in a game against the Rams last month. Utley undergoing physical therapy. Kramer able to put it in the hands of Sanders. And Barry Sanders gets across the 45, led by Lomas Brown and Eric Andolsek. He goes for 20 yards.
They run a little slip screen to the outside, and Scott Mercer is down back at about the 24-yard line. But watch this when the play sets up. Mo Lewis does a great job, number 57, trying to hold off right here, waiting to get some help to the inside. Now, Kyle Clifton comes in, misses the tackle. McMillan gets blocked, and they finally get Sanders down at almost at the 47-yard line. Mo Lewis made a great play on the offensive line, but didn't get help from his friends, and now we've got Scott Mercer, who's hurt back about the 28-yard line.
Crowd chanting Barry for Barry Sanders. The Jets checking out Scott Mercer. Will be sideline shaken up just a moment ago. Bill Piquel has come on replacing Mercer. 6 minutes gone by in this first quarter. Lions with a 7-0 lead. First down at the 47, and again it is Sanders. And a flag has been thrown. Lonnie Young makes the stop. Sanders goes for 5 on the play. Pete Carroll, the Jets defensive coordinator, telling us last night that Barry Sanders is always a step away from busting it. That's what he says the Jets have to prevent. They have not been able to do that to this point. He said he also hopes to force Sanders into a pass protection role because he's not a good blocker.
Well, that time we got
Personal
clipping,
foul
I think,
for
on 81.
Number 81 on the offense.
Bar.
15 yards. Still first down.
Thanks, Red. But Barry Sanders, when we watch him just on that last play, I mean, he can do so many moves in the backfield. But when he has to outrun a linebacker to get outside, that's easy for him to do. He can get there in a heartbeat.
Ball placed back at the 31-yard line. It'll be a first down and 25. 7-0 Detroit on a 14-yard touchdown run by Sanders. And Kramer was nearly picked off. It was intended for Perriman. Eric Kramer spent 2 years with Calgary in the Canadian Football League. Signed as a free agent with Detroit last year. Impressive during preseason, as he was a year ago. Off his good play in the preseason, surprisingly, he moved by Andre Ware and behind the injured Rodney Peete. Peete out for the rest of the season with an Achilles tendon injury, and he was really coming on.
Well, the one thing that Kramer said to us is he just wanted to make the roster. He ends up starting.
Second down and 25. And Kramer's pass completed short of the first down. Robert Clark on the reception. It was covered by Mike Grimm. It goes for 15.
You're going to see a lot of this underneath stuff. And Clark, number 82, makes the catch because the Jets are going to play zone defense. And there's a reason for it, which we'll get to. But if you take a look at Clark, he is in front of the zone. They are not playing man-to-man on the outside. Now, that's Grimm there. The reason for it is this. When you start playing man-to-man, you turn your back and you run. They don't want to turn their back to Barry Sanders. They want all 11 men facing him.
Third down and 9. On the draw, it is Sanders. Barry Sanders going all the way.
Talk about speed, you want 11 guys watching him. They all watched him go to the end zone. The first guy that watched him was Dennis Byrd, number 90. Byrd concentrating on his man, went right on by Barry Sanders.
51-yard touchdown run, his 16th of the season, and Eddie Murray adds the extra point. A sensational start for Barry Sanders, propelling the Lions to the 14-0 lead.
All right, let's just take a look at it. See number 90, Bird, he already went by. Now, the problem with this, we're seeing this one from the ground. Here comes Lonnie Young coming in. He's not going to catch him. What happens on this play, it's a third down situation. Where are the linebackers? All right, in the middle is Washington. Watch him overrun the play. Bird runs by. Washington goes to the outside. Once Sanders goes to the middle, there's nobody there. He just outruns. Lomas Brown doesn't have to block anybody. Touchdown.
So 16 touchdowns for the season. That equals a Detroit Lion club record, equals his own record of a year ago. And Billy Sims had 16 back in 1980. We had a nice chat with Barry yesterday following the Lions practice, and he says he's been a student of running backs. So we asked him who did he admire during his younger days. He said he was a great fan of O.J. Simpson, who spent some time with both Barry and Thurman Thomas this week for a feature on NFL Live. He said O.J., Tony Dorsett, and Walter Payton were the three running backs that he most admired.
But he has his own style. He does not have any of their style. He's something.
Eddie Murray with the kickoff. And a good one handled by Johnny Hector. He has the opening. Johnny Hector to midfield. Melvin Jenkins got him down, but Hector went 53 yards on the return.
But he'd have never scored because Eddie Murray was back there backpedaling. Right. Watch Hector. First of all, he wasn't going to come out. Then he realized he was in the field. Now watch. All the Lions go into the middle of the field. Once they do that, they get to the outside. Bridget is the only guy that really cuts him back inside. But you see number 3? Watch Murray. Back up, back up, back up. Somebody please tackle him. Please. Thank you. He was there. He was there.
And a jet first down at the 47. Off the play action. O'Brien firing deep. Oh. And Al Toon still looking for his first touchdown catch of the season.
You know, this ball was really thrown an awful long way, and you got to wonder if Toon was worried about whether he was going out of the end zone. Now, Jerry Ball's being blocked right at the line of scrimmage. Look at the height on this ball, and watch where the ball comes down. Here's Toon. It goes off his fingertips. He had plenty of room at the end of the end zone. Should have caught the ball. Watch this.
Oh, no question.
Unless he lost it in the roof. And they said a lot of players coming in there have lost the ball in this roof.
It is a second down and 10. And O'Brien incomplete.
He had more open again. I mean, he had two guys open. See the roof there? I mean, you can lose the ball in there. We showed it in Houston where they lost the ball, and in this roof particularly, because they were talking about one of the offensive receivers for the Detroit Lions, that Clark had problems with it, Perriman has had problems with it, and I got to believe that last time Toon had a problem with it.
And O'Brien has had two drops, arguably two passes that should have been caught. Terrence Mathis and Al Toon in the end zone. And this one is caught for the first down. Nice catch by Freeman McNeil, stopped by George Jameson.
Now the other guys had the ball hit him in the hand. Right. Freeman goes with one hand and just grabs the ball out of the air. What a great pass. First of all, O'Brien, the rush is on. Watch him move to his right, to the left of the screen. Now here comes Freeman McNeil, one-handed catch. Excuse me, thank you very much. Pull it in, get the first down.
Little sticking, perhaps? Oh, that's not legal.
Come on.
Please.
You know that's not legal.
It is a first down at the 34. The Lions with a 14-0 lead. more in motion. And it's McNeil again running well, and obviously off that fumble by Blair Thomas. Unless there is an injury we do not know about, Blair has been sent to the bench, replaced by Freeman McNeil, and now Thomas is back in.
The one thing about looking at the Jets and looking at the defensive secondary of the Detroit Lions is the Jets have people open all over the field. But I'm not talking about just getting open. I'm talking about wide open. And as long as the offensive line gives O'Brien that much time, they'll get back in this ball game.
2nd and 6 at the 30. And here's Thomas slashing his way for the first down. Stopped by Chris Spielman. We're set for an update. Let's go to Bob Costas.
Marv, a wild one at Arrowhead in Kansas City. Late in the ballgame, Mark Vlasic, who replaced an ineffective Steve DeBerg, hits the rookie out of LSU, Harvey Williams, with this go-ahead touchdown. It was 17-14. Chargers came back, tied it on John Carney's 28-yard field goal with 11 seconds left. And now, with about 10 minutes remaining in overtime, they're even up at 17.
All right, Bob, and back at the Silverdome, Jerry Ball, the Detroit Lions' excellent nose tackle, is down. And here's a look at what happened to Ball.
Jerry Ball, number 93, is by far the best defensive player on this team. Now here he is being blocked right at the line of scrimmage. But look at here. He gets hit right at the knee. That's a chop block, and that is illegal. Now here it comes right here. See the chop block right at his knees? That's Brad Baxter. That is illegal. Remember, in accordance with Michigan law, that's the one thing that the defensive linemen fear more than any other block, is when they're being set up by an offensive lineman and then a back comes in and catches them at the knee.
Thank you for your cooperation. Jerry Ball, a Pro Bowl player the last 2 years, a man who is constantly being double teamed. Reminds many of Michael Dean Perry in terms of the build, at 6'1", around 300 pounds. In fact, that bulging waistline, somewhat of a distraction last year.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you something. We sat yesterday with Mr. Jerry Ball, and I will say that because when he looks at you, it's a little scary. But this is one of the things, again, that we were talking about, Marv, that is so scary for a defensive lineman. You're setting up and you're fighting off an offensive lineman. And if we can take another look at it and maybe stop it when you see Baxter come in, because here's Ball. The center has got him. When you're sitting there, Sweeney is blocking him, and then underneath comes Baxter. He doesn't even see Baxter. His leg is planted, and he takes his knee out. That's an illegal block. And now they're bringing the card out. I mean, it's just, you hate to see that happen. And he knows, I want to tell you something, he's mad. If there's any way that he can stay in this ball game, he would. Because you're taking, first of all, and it's an illegal block, but the one thing that happens in a play like this is you take their best. He's pointing fingers. I mean, he's mad, he has a right to be, but you're taking the Detroit Lions' best defensive player off the field. Look, I mean, he is livid.
Now, we have heard accusations time to time about what you term the illegal block, and there have been several clubs that have complained that there are Jet players who do it.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Buffalo complains about it. I mean, you hear it all the time. I live in Buffalo, and you hear it all the time that they do it. And he knows that he was hit illegally. When he sees the film, he may call Brad. Or stop by.
I will have a report on Jerry Ball and pass it on. We're set to resume with 5:43 remaining in this first quarter. And the Lions up by the score of 14-0. First down play, and on the slant, it is Baxter. Stopped by Jamison. 8-yard advance for Brad Baxter. Let's take a look at the Miller Lite 10-minute ticker. These are final scores. These the early games. San Diego and Kansas City now in overtime. Chicago knocking off Green Bay. Indianapolis and New England go to OT. So the Bears are now 10-4, and the Lions needing a victory here to stay on top in a tie for first. Baxter trying to pick his way, and he is short of the first down. Spielman making the stop. Kelvin Pritchett has come on, replacing Jerry Ball. Owens moving to the nose position, and Pritchett will play outside.
Spielman was in. Spindler was also in on the play.
It'll be a third down at about 1.5 yards.
Well, the way they have this thing marked, Marv, it's third and about 0.5 yard. And if I were the quarterback, I would ask to have this thing marked so you'd know exactly how much you have.
You think that's 1/2 yard?
Yeah.
Looks like a little over a yard.
Well, they have to go inside the 9. Oh, yeah, inside the 14.
All right, here's O'Brien throwing. Intended for 2. Covered by the extra defensive back, Terry Taylor. And let's see what Bruce Coslett does.
Marv, you're looking at a marker on the other side.
No,
the guy finally moved it.
They changed
but
it.
the one down here is where it's at. The ball is inside the 15. They don't even have to go to the 14. They only have about 6 inches.
The fellow on the far side taking a little nap, Paul.
Don't trust those guys, Marv.
You're right. You're right.
Don't trust them.
Well, they are going for it. 4th and 1/2 yards. And it is a first down. Al Toon able to make the catch and remain in bounds, taking the hit from Terry Taylor.
Can you believe these two calls? They got 3rd and less than 1 yard, 4th and less than 1 yard, and they throw the same pass play twice. Look at this, and here Toon is covered on the outside. The first one he dropped, he only had 1/2 yard. Those were 2 calls that I would question, but it worked.
And Al Toon did a nice job in staying in bounds. That went for 9. Al Toon has 6 inches on the 5'10" Terry Taylor. The Jets have a 1st and goal at the 6. 85 more in motion. It's to the ground, and a touchdown for Blair Thomas. Nice moves by Thomas, who takes it in from 6 yards away.
Now you think about the other 2 plays. I don't want to belabor a point, but you think about 3rd and 1/2 yard, 4th and 1/2 yard, you throw twice. Now here comes Blair Thomas from the 6.5 yard line. I mean, he goes in. Only one guy had a shot at him. They score the touchdown. You just wonder about the play calling.
And now Pat Leahy will attempt the extra point. Louis Aguiar will put it down. 3:08 remaining in the first quarter. And the Lions now lead the Jets by the score of 14-7. The Jets by the score of 14-7. Paul McGuire, along with yours truly, Marv Albert. Paul, what a delight this is to spend this quality time with you.
I know it just, especially indoors, which when it's so romantic. But I think the most important thing about this ball game, the Jets came back and scored. Ball is out. You better figure out a way to stop Barry Sanders, because if you don't stop him, you're not going to win the football game. I'm talking about the Jets.
And we also have a report on Jerry Ball, left leg injury, uncertain whether he will return. There's the kickoff from Aguiar, and again a short kick. They are looking to keep it away from Gray, and it's Jeff Campbell who is up front as one of the up men who is able to handle it. 11-yard return by Campbell. Wayne Fonts telling me last night that after viewing that Jet San Diego game where the Jets were so successful in keeping it away from the Charger return man, he was well aware that Aguiar would try to do the same against Gray. Wayne Fonts, a one-time New York Titan, predecessor of the Jets, a defensive back for the Titans of the AFL, Sanders with a short pickup. Kyle Clifton made the stop. Fonce's career was cut short by a broken leg. And he was in the Jet record book up until 2 years ago. An 83-yard interception return back in '62 by Fonce as a member of the Titans was the all-time club record. Did it against the Houston Oilers, but Eric McMillan erased him 2 years ago as he went 93 yards.
I played against Coach Fonce back in those days. Aren't you excited?
Call my reaction. I'm just holding
it's
myself
overwhelming.
up. And Kramer has it knocked down. Pass intended for Perryman. Loggeman got a piece of it.
Loggeman reads it all the way, and Kramer has no chance. 56 is Loggeman. Lomas Brown, 75 is blocking on him. Now watch what Loggeman does. Kramer's looking at it right now. He pushes Lomas Brown away. The ball is low. Loggeman knocks it down. Perryman has no chance. And also, Lonnie Young was coming up to make the play anyway.
A 3rd and 10 at the 31.
Mercer is back in the ballgame.
Scott Mercer forced out, shaken up earlier, replaced by Piquel, and has returned. Kramer intercepted by Eric McMillan. Eric McMillan going the distance. Bad tackling by the Lions.
Those boos are for McMillan, or for Kramer I'm talking about. I mean, this ball is overthrown. He had Perryman open, going down the middle of the field, playing into the zone. And watch this. Watch where this ball is thrown. McMillan makes a great play on the ball. They're playing zone defense, remember. Here's the ball over Lonnie Young. McMillan makes the play. I think Mercer gets an excellent block here. There's Lomas Brown coming in. And Mercer back upfield got a good block. But watch McMillan. He gets bumped right into the end zone by Barry Sanders. Nice play.
3rd interception of the season. His 5th career touchdown. He has been a big play guy. Eric McMillan running it in, going 57 yards. And now Leahy has tied it. So the Jets have come back from a 14-0 deficit. They had been listed by Barry Sanders, and with 1:58 remaining in this first quarter, they've tied the game at 14.
It was a bad series for Detroit because, first of all, the first play they run Barry Sanders, he gets no yardage. Second play was a screen that was knocked down, and the third play is intercepted for a touchdown. I'm not saying keep going to Sanders, but he is your guy. He had 72 yards in 4 carries. Keep giving him the ball. You don't have to throw the ball, young man.
A reminder, next Saturday, O.J. Simpson and Bill Walsh will report on their visit to the San Francisco 49ers on NFL Live.
Fans in the hotel. We stayed at the same hotel with the Jets. What do you think? This will be a low-scoring game, shouldn't it? I said, yeah, real low. Are you kidding?
Paul always very flexible during those conversations. Whatever is brought up, you agree with.
Oh, yeah. Why not? Then you get out of there.
All right, here's the kick by Aguilar, and again, he keeps it away from Gray. And the return once again by Campbell.
Marv, here is the situation that Gray should have given Campbell a call because Campbell was right on the sideline. And there was no place to go. The ball would have gone out of bounds, and Detroit would have gotten the ball at the 35-yard line. But he doesn't get a call from Gray, so he goes ahead and catches the football.
And you saw Chris Burkett on the Jet sideline. That is a major loss for the Jets. He was injured during practice this week. He's out with a sprained right knee. He says he'll be back next week for the game against New England. Kramer throwing on first down, and it's a short pickup. Caught by Mike Faw, stopped by Mike Grimm. Look at the Miller Lite 10-minute ticker. These are the final scores from the early games. Houston clinching the division. Philadelphia coming from behind to beat the Giants. Kansas City and San Diego in overtime. Chicago knocking off Green Bay, and an OT New England knocking off Indianapolis. Raiders in front of Buffalo. And Atlanta jumping in front 10-0 on the Rams. Jets and Lions tied at 14. Off the draw, Sanders able to break a tackle and reaches out for the first down. Mo Lewis, the outside linebacker, made the stop. He picked up 5 on the play. Getting back to the subject of Chris Burkett, he has been such a pleasant surprise for the Jets, excelling on special teams. Jets pumping him for the Pro Bowl, and he's also done it as a wide receiver.
I talked to Chris yesterday, and I said, you know, how you feeling? He said, I got a slight ligament tear. How do you have a slight ligament tear? You know, everybody's talking about he might miss the rest of the season. He said, I'll be back next week. I'll be fine. And he's up there cheering everybody on, especially the special teams guys.
Down to 20 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Here's Kramer on a screen. Sanders excites the crowd. He is hit hard out of bounds by Brian Washington. Picked up 7 on the play.
You see what he did to Lonnie Young? I mean, he made Lonnie Young miss, and it is incredible. Watch this. But this is the one outside, and Washington hits him, but he is hitting him in the playing field. That is legal. That play is legal.
The Jet secondary coming into today is banged up. Not a good time to play against a run-and-shoot offense led by Barry Sanders. Fans booing because the Lions are letting the clock run down. James Hasty is bothered by a sprained foot. Mike Brim by a sprained neck, although they are in action. Headed their season to offensive lineman, a very popular player here, Mike Utley. Lions wearing decals with number 60 on their helmet, and they have adopted the slogan "Thumbs Up," reflecting Utley giving that sign when he was carried off the field when he was injured. And Sanders lost it. The Jets claim they've recovered.
Lageman made a super play on the outside. If the whistle didn't blow, wait, look at these guys. Now, I don't see any flags. I mean, there it is.
Some late hits, a couple of jabs thrown by Jet and Lion players.
That's Brim, number 43, I believe. Bruce is trying to get his players off the field. Now, McMillan's in there pointing fingers. See, when a fight used to break out, this is years ago when I played, I always stood behind like a lineman and reached over his shoulder and yelled. Never got
But you were a big guy then, Paul.
Wrong. Cowardly. Remember the Lion? Question is, was it a fumble? Let's get back to the football game before all the fighting.
After the play was over, we've got unnecessary roughness both ways. They all set. Fumble is recovered. First down.
There we go. Yeah. I mean, Lageman makes just a sensational play on the outside. Not only does he make the tackle right at your screen. There's Lageman, 56. Look at this. But I'm going to tell you what, they're going to give this thing and reverse it. They should, because the ball hits the ground and the tackle cannot cause a fumble. They're going to reverse this, I'm telling you.
It is very rare for Barry Sanders to fumble.
Watch.
Apparently they are going to take another look.
Watch Barry Sanders' hand. When Lageman pulls him down, it's a tremendous play by Jeff Lageman, but watch his left arm.
There's a fumble and a recovery by the defensive
Watch this.
team.
Now watch what happens. Here he comes down. The ball hits the ground in his arm. They'll give the ball back to Detroit with a loss on the play. Here he comes. Lageman's got him. Barry Sanders goes down. The ball, it hits the ground. The other replay is the better replay because it actually shows the arm going down. Watch this. His left arm where the ball is. Here's the tackle. Good play. The ball's not coming out. He hits it with his elbow on the ground. The ball pops out. It'll be Lions ball.
Good catch, Paul. If they uphold your opinion, that is.
You question?
We'd like to welcome those of you who have been watching the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Diego Chargers. The Chiefs winning in overtime, 20-17. Marv Albert with Paul McGuire from the Silverdome in Pontiac. We're just underway in the second quarter. The Lions jumped in front 14-0 on 2 touchdown runs by Barry Sanders, one from 14 and then from 51. But the Jets came back. Blair Thomas, 6-yard touchdown run, and Eric McMillan on an interception and ran it in. So it is a reversal on the play. The replay official is Cal Lepore, and they have reversed it. The Lions maintain possession. It'll be merely a loss of 2 on the play.
And it is the right call because, again, the only way the ground can cause a fumble is if you're not being tackled or tackled. Here it is. Lageman made just a sensational play, no question about that. But you see the ball comes out as Sanders' arm hits the ground. That is a tremendous call. And that's the good parts about instant replay.
It's let's see what the call is. They're saying a 3rd down and 4. 3rd and 4 from the 30. And Kramer able to complete for the 1st down to Robert Clark. Stopped by Lonnie Young.
You know why this play works so well to Clark is because Lonnie Young got stuck looking for Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders will come out to the left of the screen all by himself. Now, Clifton is there, but watch where Lonnie Young is. You see 31 stuck way up in front. If he can get back in that zone defense, he can make the play on the ball. But you have to be aware of where Sanders is. You can't let him catch it in the open field.
And for the first time today, the Lions are going with the 2 backs in the set. DJ Dozier has come on. They did this a couple of weeks ago against Minnesota, and Sanders stopped behind the line by Lonnie Young.
Lonnie Young, who got, how many tickets did he give?
Yes, he grew up in nearby Flint and had to secure 40 tickets for friends and relatives. He said Terrence Mathis actually his request list was even more demanding. That's part of the Lonnie Young, Terrence Mathis section. Mathis, also from Flint, had to get 60 tickets for the game. So they accounted for 100 people in that section that you just saw.
So they're both playing this game for nothing.
Yes. 2nd down and 15. Kramer broken up.
James Hasty, I mean, that is just an outstanding defensive play by that man right there, number 40. I mean, he is there, makes the play, goes over the top and knocks the ball down. Watch Hasty come in here. Look at this. Super play, no contact, just knocked the ball down. That is outstanding. And Willie Green had no chance to catch the ball. And, you know, people wonder, you know, 60 tickets, 45 tickets. They pay for them. They have to pay for the tickets, and it's deducted from their check. But I was playing, I'd owe them for next week.
It is a 3rd and 15 at the 34. Kramer going sideline. It is caught by Perryman. It was covered by Lewis, but that is short of the 1st down. Brett Perryman picking up 9 on the play. You know, there are a number of outstanding athletes from Flint, Michigan, along with Lonnie Young and Terrence Mathis. Football players such as Carl Banks and Mark Ingram, Andre Rison. From the NBA, Trent Tucker, Glenn Rice, Jeff Grayer grew up in Flint. And Mathis is now back waiting for the punt from Jim Arnold.
They better be aware of the fake because we watched Arnold yesterday practice, not only throwing the ball but running with it and also off a field goal.
And gets away a strong punt. Mathis lets it fly. It carries to the end zone. So they'll bring it out to the 20. A 56-yarder for Jim Arnold. Motor City, actually the outskirts of the Motor City in downtown Pontiac, where the Silverdome is located. Marv Albert with Paul McGuire. We are early in the 2nd quarter, and the Jets and the Lions tied at 14. Jets 1st down from the 20. Again, the play action. Good fake by O'Brien, but it's a loss on the play. The tight end Boyer driven back by the outside linebacker George Jamison. We are set for another update. Let's go to our New York studios. Here's Bob.
Marv, here's the way it finally ended at Arrowhead after trailing 14-0. The Chiefs were able to come back, force overtime, and then win on this 18-yard Nick Lowry field goal with 3.5 minutes left in the overtime. So Kansas City takes their record to 9-5, and the Chargers, who almost pulled the upset, are 3-11.
All right, Bob, we have a later report on the nose tackle for Detroit. Their all-pro player, Jerry Ball, with a sprained knee. No word on if he would be able to return, but that is a major loss for the Lions. O'Brien has to run, couldn't find anybody, and he slides for the first down. Covered up by Tracy Hayworth. Ken O'Brien picks up the first down. Now the Lions alignment with Ball out has Owens at the nose and Pritchett on the outside.
Ken O'Brien, fleet of foot. Watch this.
Yes.
He took about 12 steps before he got back to the line of scrimmage, but then, and look at this, he picks up that first down. Now remember, see, he ends up about at the 33-yard line, but where he first goes down is where they mark it, and he just did get the first down.
What did Ken tell us a couple of weeks ago? No one would mistake him for twinkle toes.
Yeah.
Very modest statement. Here's Hector. Here's Kozlik shuffling. His running backs, Kelvin Pritchett, made the stop. Johnny Hector picked up 4 on the play. And we're going to return to Bob at our New York studios for another update.
Our thought, Marv, is you just can't get enough of us. There was another overtime game. This one was in Foxborough. Hugh Millen unleashing this 45-yarder to Michael Timpson with 6 minutes left in OT. The Patriots, who had trailed 17-3, tied the game with 7 seconds left in regulation on a Millen to Ben Coates touchdown pass. Then they win it on that one, 23-17.
Thank you, Bob. And O'Brien completes. Al Toon bobbled and held on. Brought down by the free safety, Benny Blades. It's a 24-yard pickup for Toon, his second reception of the day.
And what happens is O'Brien throws it before Toon's looking. Watch Jenkins is 24. The ball is in the air. See how fast the ball got there? That ball was in the air before Toon turned, and then he makes the catch, bobble the ball. That is a tremendous play by Al Toon.
The Jets seem to have settled down after the shaky start. First 2 plays, a sack and a fumble, and they were down 14-0. Game is now tied at 14. Hard move, hard running move by Johnny Hector, stopped by Dan Owens.
You know, play action has worked for O'Brien, but I'll tell you another thing that's going to work for O'Brien because of the over pursuit. Now, we talked to Chris Spielman about the Jets. He said when they line up in certain formations, 95% of the time, maybe even more than that, they tell you exactly where they're going to run. They're going to run inside. They very rarely run outside. So they pursue so much. If O'Brien will run a bootleg, put the backs one way, roll back out the other way, it's going to be wide open.
Al Thomas and Baxter are the running backs. And it is Baxter right at the marker, stopped by Hayworth. Brad Baxter going for 7.
Now here we are in a situation that they're going to be short about a yard, a full yard here. Now remember, in the first quarter, they had 3rd and about 6 inches. They threw the ball. They had 4th and about 6 inches. They threw the ball. Now they're going to take timeout.
And when we resume, it'll be a 3rd and about 1.
Now they already lost ball in the middle. Spielman just went off the field, number 54. And they cannot have, that's their 2 best defensive players.
And there is Chris Spielman hobbling to the sideline. He's replaced by Toby Castone. Let's check the Schick Tracer 10-minute ticker. These are the later scores. Raiders leading Buffalo by 10. A 3rd down and 1. And O'Brien is hauled down. George Jameson putting the pressure on.
I'm sorry, I just don't like the play calling. 3rd and short. They just ran the ball twice and picked up 9.5 yards. Why go back and throw the ball and then take your people out? You have nobody to block. Take a look to the right of the screen. Jamison is there. That's just an excellent play by the linebacker. But the problem was that Brad Baxter, number 30, I got to believe he went the wrong way. He went left and should have gone right. Now you have to punt the ball.
4th sack of the season by Jamison. Mel Gray back, awaiting the punt from Louis Aguiar. And Gray let it go, and it carries in. 44-yard punt. That was not what Aguiar had in mind, so they'll bring it out to the 20. 7:18 remaining in this first half. The Jets and the Lions tied at 14. Detroit Lions 7-0 here at the Silverdome. They are unbeaten indoors, winless outdoors, seeking their first playoff appearance since back in 1983. Kramer to throw on first down, and it is deflected.
Lageman. What a year this young man is having. Jeff Lageman. We talked to him yesterday. He's stranger than fiction, that guy. I really
stranger
like
than fiction.
I love him. Watch this. There's Lageman. That's the second one he's knocked down. But he, you know, I really like the honesty about Lageman. You know, last year he had a great first game and then he had a bad year, and he told us that. And he really believes he's having a good year. And there goes the second best player on defense for Detroit to the locker room, Chris Spielman.
Told it's a bruised knee and probably will return. Sanders stopped by Hasty. It's a 6-yard advance.
Wait a minute. This ball looked now Marvin Washington is down on his knees. It looked like he hit the ball, and it bounced in to Barry Sanders' hands. It didn't look like he was throwing the ball to Barry Sanders. Marvin Washington has got his helmet off, and he's on his way to the sideline. He has to because the trainer came out. When you hear that booing, the people are seeing the replay on the Diamond Vision here, but Washington, I think, got a piece of the ball because Barry Sanders ends up with the ball. Goes to the outside. James Hasty is there. Grabs Barry Sanders and pulls him out of bounds. There's nothing wrong with that play.
Well, the crowd reacting to the tackle out of bounds.
All right, look at this pass here. The ball is hit because Barry Sanders is right in front of him. I mean, it's kind of strange, even for Kramer.
Back to the Jet locker room. So Washington departs. Busy locker rooms right now. We still have 7 minutes remaining in this first half.
We have a full locker room before halftime.
Third down and 3. Kramer looking right, couldn't find anyone. Goes left. Wide open. Willie Green. Willie Green goes 73 yards for his 7th touchdown of the season.
Good things happen to those who wait. Now, Kramer, when he goes back to pass, first of all, he runs into the running back. He was going to throw the ball out here on the right-hand side, or to his right, closest to us, but he runs into the back. Now he steps back because he can't throw it out, and he looks downfield, and who's running downfield all by himself is number 86, Willie Green.
Eric Kramer with his 9th touchdown pass of the season. And Eddie Murray converts for a 21-14 Detroit lead. Here is Kramer on target with Green. Willie Green in his first year out of Mississippi, an 8th-round draft pick a year ago, and he spent all of last season on injured reserve.
Citizen ProMaster Flight Chronograph indicates 22 time zones. Navigation calculator.
You weren't lying when you said you were.
50,000 at the Silverdome. They're short of a sellout capacity at at 80,000. Eddie Murray with a deep kick. And Johnny Hector had a good one in his last outing. Reaches across the 20. He went for 19 yards on the play. And that last Kramer to Green touchdown for 73 yards, the longest touchdown pass this season for Detroit, the longest, in fact, in 2 years.
You see what I'm talking about? Here goes Kramer. He runs into Barry Sanders. He's going to try to throw out to his right. Now he has to pull the ball down. And he can't throw out here, so he looks back, and who's downfield but Willie Green? He ends up, Clark comes in, makes the play on Hasty, and it's touchdown.
Jets first down from the 22. Chris Spielman, who left earlier with a bruised knee, is back on the field. O'Brien with the play action. And goes incomplete for Blair Thomas. Covered by inside linebacker Dennis Gibson.
Blair Thomas that time just really got hooked up with the inside linebacker Dennis Gibson. If he avoids him, which he could have done, if he avoids him, there's a flag on the play.
Roughness. Number 92 on the defense, 15 yards, first down.
That's Spindler. But if Blair Thomas avoids Gibson, he'd be able to make the catch, but they get 15 anyway.
Mark Spindler in his second year out of Pittsburgh, third-round draft pick last year. Wayne Fonts telling us last night that he's the type of guy who'll fight you all game long. Very aggressive player, never stops coming. He's back from an injured knee. 21-14. Lions on top. Big hole for Brad Baxter. Spielman and Blades on the stop. Baxter going for 8 yards. A look at the Schick Tracer 10-minute ticker. First, the early games. Houston clinching the division. It'll be a second down and 2 at the 45. 85 more in motion. Here's Hector. And he squirts his way for a first down. Stopped by George Jamison. Johnny Hector seeing quite a bit of action here this afternoon. He went for 5 on the play.
That's really surprising because the Jets seem to be able to do whatever they want to do on first down. If they throw the ball, they pick up 8 or 9 yards. If they run the ball, they pick up 8 or 9 yards. First down has been a great down for them in this ball game. I just don't. The only one I'm questioning is the third and short yardage deals where they're trying to throw the ball when they could be running it.
Just under 5 minutes remaining in this first half. Baxter to the 45, stopped by Spindler.
That was a nice move by Brad Baxter. The play was called to go inside. He saw that there was nothing there on the inside, so he just hopped back to the outside and picks up 5 yards. Left of the screen. Here's the block by Blair Thomas right at the point of attack. Now outside, Baxter goes, then back to the inside. Spindler misses the tackle, or makes the tackle, excuse me.
Second down and 5 at the 45. Lions 21 and the Jets 14. There's Baxter for the first down and some additional yardage. So Brad Baxter running well. He's in his second year out of Alabama State. He spent 1989 on the developmental squad. Last year emerged as a protective power runner, originally an 11th round draft pick of the Vikings. There's Marvin Washington, who has made his return, headed back to the locker room, and now looks like he'll be ready for action.
Barry Ball's the only one that remains in the locker room.
First down at the 34. Again, Moore in motion, and the flags are thrown.
Well, Brett Miller, number 72, pulls up. Even if the defensive man comes across, now the question is, did the defensive man make the contact? There was movement on the right-hand side of the defensive line and also on the left-hand side. Now they can move. Defensive line can move across and get back as long as you don't make contact.
That is the right tackle, Brett Miller, who alternates with Irv Eatman.
Okay, Red.
False start. Before the ball was snapped, left tackle and the right tackle. 5 yards, still first down.
It's got both sides.
Take your choice. Criswell on one side. Here he is here. He moved. That's a movement. You can't do that, even that little movement. That's movement. And then you see Miller, 72, stand up. That's nice to give it to them, both of them, though, you know?
Sets it back to a 1st and 15. O'Brien trying to hit Thomas, and a flag has been tossed. Flag is downfield. Any blades on the coverage of Blair Thomas.
You know what's amazing about this whole thing is Blair Thomas is the only player downfield beyond 4-yard pattern, because both Moore and Toon ran short pattern. Now the question, don't say that ball isn't catchable, because Blair Thomas gets his hand on it. It is catchable. But the pattern, it was a strange pattern because it was a play action pass, and neither one of the wide receivers really went downfield. It was all designed for Blair Thomas coming out. Pass interference on the defense. That's a call. All right. Here goes Blair Thomas. Downfield. And I want to know where the pass interference is, because there is none.
Well, I think it occurred just before you saw the end of the play.
Yeah, but I mean, we saw it there. Watch it. They're not even touching each other, because Blair Thomas is already beyond William White.
It's a 23-yard penalty, 1st down at the 16. And again, Hector.
You know what the Jets are doing that is really smart? You got the one guy that they talked about so much yesterday, Jerry Ball, number 93, is out of the ball game. So they're going, basically, their runs are from guard to guard and not tackle to tackle. They're running right inside where the big man would have been.
Get the idea, though, that the Jets are a bit down on Blair Thomas after that early fumble?
Yeah, I think they are. I think you're right.
We're seeing quite a bit of Kramer McNeil and Johnny Hector. Brad Baxter has received the call. 2nd down and 7. O'Brien completes. And, oh, they may call it incomplete. Did not have possession. Hard hit by the strong safety, William White.
To the right. Coming to the outside, Kramer McNeil, and there is no catch. He didn't have control of the ball. William White, good hit by number 35. They're talking to each other now, aren't they? Talking trash.
Ken O'Brien is 4 for 9, only 47 yards. Yes, William White with some words in the face of Kramer McNeil. 6 defensive backs for Detroit for the 3rd and 7, and it's broken up. Number 25, Sheldon White, breaking up that pass intended for Dale Dawkins. Sheldon White, one-time Giant. He was a 3rd-round draft pick of the Giants back in 1988. Here comes Pat Leahy. 7-point lead for the Lions with 2:01 remaining in the 1st half, and this a 30-yard attempt for Leahy. Last week he hit 2 of 2 from close range.
Missed it.
No good. Pat Leahy has struggled this season, not able to hit from 30. We'll be right back. 4 for 34 for the season. Not a good year for Pat. who has to be wondering at age 40 whether it's still there. He is 0 for 6 from beyond 40. You saw the stat from beyond 30. Missed from 30 yards away just a moment ago. Here's Sanders getting the big hole. And he has a first down. 1:45 remaining.
Hurry up offense.
First half. Time running down. Sanders went for 12. The Detroit Lions come in at 9-4. Chicago beating Green Bay earlier, so right now they're a half game behind the Bears. And it is completed for a short pickup. Hasty making the stop on Green. That went for 4 on the play, and now the Lions call for time. 1:26 to go in the first half.
And then he falls out of bounds, which stops the clock at 1:19, saves the timeout. The Lions still have 2, and they're getting in field goal range.
Robert Clark in his 6th season from North Carolina Central, 3rd year with Detroit, spent a couple with New Orleans, known for his precise pass patterns. And he has had an excellent season. Now Kramer off the pump, goes short range to Sanders, and this time met head on, and that is rare to see. Barry Sanders stopped for a loss of 5.
Mo Lewis is the guy that stops him, and what he did that time is that they talked about it to us yesterday, Pete Carroll and also Jeff Lageman, is the fact that they have to commit themselves, go directly at Barry Sanders and make him try to juke, so to give some people some time to get over to him. That time was Barry Sanders was trying to make that move. Mo Lewis hit him as soon as he caught the ball.
A reminder, at the conclusion of today's game, we'll be presenting the Avis We Try Harder Award, which we give it to the game's most valuable player. Wayne Fonts, in his 3rd full season as Detroit head coach, took over on an interim basis. Back in 1958, he had been the Lions defensive coordinator. Last season, Lions went 6-10. Previous year, 7-9. So the feeling was there was pressure on Wayne this year. And they have responded. Willie Green, covered by James Hasty.
We got a couple of guys tied up at the 50-yard line. That's Washington's down on the ground, but they're all right.
Correction, Wayne Fonts took over the Lions back in 88, not 58. That would have been a neat trick because he was still at Michigan State.
Tough to find Wayne Fonts here yesterday. We were at practice. They've got 13 assistants. So they got more guys. They got a coach for every 3 guys.
It is a 3rd down and 3 at the 42 as we come up on 1 minute remaining first half. Sanders with the inside handoff. He broke tackles and has the first down. Mo Lewis with a shot at him, and then he was finally brought down. Went for 5.
Only problem, the Lions only have 1 timeout left, so when you run the ball, you keep Barry Sanders inside. Now when you got first down, you throw one away here.
87 yards, 10 carries for Sanders. Kramer with the time. Incomplete. Robert Clark, the intended receiver, and Kramer is shaken up. He took a shot in the first quarter, hurt his shoulder, and not looking too good right here.
Same guy hits him again. Dennis Byrd, watch this, number 90. Here's Kramer moving around. There's only so much time, and then here comes Dennis Byrd again. Bang! This is almost a repeat of the first quarter, back on his back. He's hurt. He's not giving up his job, though. He said, I was lucky to make the team. Now I have the starting position. I'm not giving it up.
Andre Ware is the backup quarterback. Eric Kramer, not what you call a glamour quarterback. Did not play quarterback as a senior in high school. Late bloomer. Sanders runs it out. He was not highly recruited by colleges. Ended up at North Carolina State. He was the ACC Player of the Year in '86. And as we mentioned earlier, spent some time in Canada with Calgary. Signed as a free agent with Detroit last year. He's also playing with a jammed finger on his throwing hand that was suffered last week in the Thanksgiving Day game against the Chicago Bears. It's a 3rd and 6 at the 33. Lions need some yardage. Eddie Murray is not a long-range field goal specialist. Robert Clark took a hit from Mike Grimm, but a first down collected. 8-yard advance. Time running down.
Well, he's got to throw the ball away. He's got to get up under center.
And he stops the clock with 8 seconds remaining in the half, and the Lions leading the Jets by the score of 21-14.
Well, you're looking at here, let's see, the 30, 32, 33. So you're looking at a 43-yard field goal. Or do you go for one more play? You only have 8 seconds. So you have a chance of going to the end zone or a little short out pattern.
Murray did hit a 50-yarder against Chicago last week, but as I mentioned, that has not been his specialty.
Now they just took their last time out. So where do you go from here now? I mean, here comes Murray out. Well, obviously he'll kick the field goal, at least try it. 43-yarder, this could be made.
So down to 8 seconds remaining in the half, and Eddie Murray is coming on. Just saw a shot of Andre Ware, who was the 1989 Heisman Trophy winner. Next Saturday, NBC Sports will present the 19 led by Desmond Howard and Florida State's Casey Weldon. Last year's winner, Ty Detmer. Next Saturday at the special time of 7 o'clock Eastern, following our coverage of Kansas City and San Francisco. It's a 43-yard attempt from straight away. Murray able to put it through. Eddie Murray now 17 for 23 for the season, and he connects from 43 yards out. The Detroit Lions with a 24-14 lead with only 2 seconds to go in the first half. Well, the Detroit Lions come in with a record of 9-4 and need a victory to tie Chicago for the NFC Central lead. The Bears earlier defeating Green Bay, so they are at 10 up and 4 down. Detroit going for its first playoff appearance since back in '83, when the Lions, with a record of 9-7, lost to San Francisco 24-23 in the first round of the playoffs. Also, a win today would give the Lions their first undefeated home season since back in 1962, when they went 7-0 playing at Tiger Stadium. Lions 7-0 here at the Silverdome this year, and they put it on the ground. It's handled by the tight end Chris Dressel, so time has run out in this first half. Halftime in Pontiac, and the Detroit Lions, sparked by 2 touchdowns by Barry Sanders, 1 for 51 yards, lead the New York Jets 24-14. We'll be back after these words from your local station.